The cameras rolled, the audience quieted, and the show's intro music faded. Karoline Leavitt sat across from the well-known liberal TV host, a man infamous for his aggressive tactics and condescending smirks when interviewing conservatives. The topic of discussion was leadership, but it didn't take long before the host's eyes flickered toward Karoline's necklace, a simple yet elegant cross that hung just above the collar of her dress. He chuckled, shaking his head. "That's quite an interesting accessory, Karoline," he said, the sarcasm dripping from his voice. "A bit old-fashioned, don't you think?" The audience, filled with his usual supporters, chuckled along with him. But Karoline Leavitt didn't flinch. She knew exactly what he was trying to do. Instead of reacting with frustration, she smiled. "Not at all," she said smoothly. "It represents faith, strength, and principles, things that never go out of style." The audience murmured, the laughter fading slightly. The host tilted his head, as if amused. Faith and strength? Or just an outdated belief system that holds society back? He challenged. Karoline leaned forward slightly. "That's funny," she said. "Because every time people face hardship, they turn to faith. Maybe it's not outdated, maybe it's what holds society together." The host smirked, clearly enjoying the verbal sparring. "You're telling me that in today's world, where science and progress lead the way, we still need symbols like that?" He pointed at her necklace, as if it were nothing more than an artifact of the past. Karoline Leavitt met his gaze calmly. "Absolutely," she replied. "You can have all the progress in the world, but without a moral foundation, it crumbles. Look around, crime is rising, division is growing, and people feel lost. Maybe it's because we've pushed faith aside in the name of progress." The audience went silent. The host shifted in his seat, sensing that Karoline wasn't going to be easily rattled. "So, you think people like me, who don't wear symbols of faith, don't have morals?" he countered, trying to twist her words. Karoline shook her head.
To my channel.
"I think people like you mock what they don't understand," she said plainly. "And deep down, I think you know that, too." The host blinked, caught off guard. The audience, once so ready to laugh along, was now watching intently, waiting for his next move. The host cleared his throat, attempting to regain control. "All right, let's talk about policies instead," he said hastily, trying to steer the conversation away. But Karoline Leavitt wasn't about to let him escape that easily. "Sure," she said, "let's talk about policies. Your side pushes for government control over almost every aspect of people's lives, yet you mock something as personal as faith? You don't believe in people making their own choices, unless it's a choice you approve of." The audience gasped. The host shifted again, uncomfortable with the direction this was taking. "That's not what I said," he muttered, suddenly unsure of himself. Karoline smiled. "No, but it's what your actions show," she replied. "You claim to support diversity and tolerance, yet here you are, mocking a simple necklace because it represents something you don't like." The host opened his mouth, then closed it. He had no comeback. The audience, which had once been entirely in his favor, was now split. Some nodded in agreement with Karoline. Others whispered among themselves, realizing that maybe, just maybe, she had a point. "Look," the host finally said, trying to regain control, "I just think that we should be focusing on the real issues." Karoline tilted her head. "I agree," she said. "But you brought up my necklace, not me. So maybe the real issue isn't what I believe, it's why you feel the need to attack it." The audience gasped again. The host clenched his jaw, clearly frustrated. "I wasn't attacking," but Karoline raised a hand. "It's okay," she said, her voice calm but firm. "I get it. Faith makes people uncomfortable. But here's the truth, you don't have to believe in what I believe. That's your right. Just like it's mine to wear this cross with pride." A few people in the audience clapped. The host's eyes darted toward the camera, realizing how this was going to look on the final broadcast. He had set a trap, but Karoline had turned it around completely. As the segment wrapped up, the host forced a smile, thanking Karoline for coming on the show. But everyone could see it, he had lost this debate without Karoline even raising her voice. The moment the show aired, social media exploded. Clips of Karoline's response flooded the internet, with captions like, "Karoline Leavitt schools liberal host," and "faith versus mockery, who really won?" Even those who disagreed with her politically admitted she had handled herself with grace and intelligence. Meanwhile, the host found himself facing backlash, not just from conservatives, but from viewers who had expected him to dominate the conversation and instead watched him get completely outmatched. As Karoline walked off set, she smiled, knowing that once again, the truth had spoken louder than the mockery. If you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon, you won't want to miss what happens next.